All right, Coach, congratulations on the win. A little bit of a hiccup there in the first half. So what did you see from the team between the first half and the second half?
Yeah, I thought in the first half we were possessing the ball well. I think we had a lot of confidence on the ball, and we got caught in a moment where maybe we were playing in an area where we shouldn't have been. Second half, I think we approached the game. We were more professional in how we approached the game. I think we had a better mentality towards the match, and I was happy to see. Obviously, we had a lot of production in that half, though we dropped off a little bit in our possession and in our control of the game. We were certainly able to score a few.
What was your message to the team to kind of help spur that on?
I told them that maybe the first half we were a bit casual, and that I wanted them to approach the second half in a different way, and increase the intensity and increase our work rate, and they did. They clearly did. So it was a really good response from that second half.
5-goal night without Luka. What's his status?
Yeah, Luka is he's a few weeks away. He's doing well. He's rehabbing. He's got great people around him. So we're going to be without him for a little bit, but he's an important part of what we do, and these guys obviously did an incredible job tonight. Without Luka, to score 5 goals is great, but we'll also be really happy when he comes back.
What's the nature of the injury?
Just a little bit of a hamstring. So I think with hamstrings, you always want to be cautious, and we want to make sure that we don't re-injure it. So we're going to take our time. We're going to make sure that we get him ready to go, and that we don't put him in a position where he's going to re-injure.
Is there a particular point you're aiming to have him back for?
No, I think with injuries like that, it has a lot to do with how he responds to treatment, right? But obviously, we want to see him as soon as possible, but we don't want to put him in a position where we're going to make backward steps.
How happy were you with the replacements of Dorado, particularly Hansen and Carlos?
Yeah, I thought we have multiple players on this team that can score goals, and to get goals from as many of the guys that we did tonight is great, because I think when those guys score goals, they gain confidence, right? And then now when they get in front of goal, they have a different feeling. So I'm really happy to get those guys going. And to be honest, there were a number of chances that we didn't convert that were really close as well. So it's been a huge emphasis in training, honestly, in the last 2 weeks. Getting into the final third and creating those chances, and then finishing our chances. And that was a big point of emphasis going into this game is, okay, let's put all this work in training. You guys have shown that you can do it in training, and it came out tonight, which was great.
How tall is Carlos?
He is 6'7".
6'7". You ever had a player that tall?
The closest one, I think, was 6'4" or 6'5", Aaron Schoenfeld. And he played at ETSU. He was drafted by the Columbus Crew, and he played for Maccabi Tel Aviv in Israel. Had an incredible career. And Carlos obviously has some gifts that make him a very difficult player to deal with.
What can his height mean for you?
Well, I think not only is he tall, but he moves very well. And so, I think with some players, they don't have the athleticism to match the height. Whereas I really think Carlos, he can run, he's quite mobile and agile. He's learning in our environment now how he can be even more effective, both as a finisher and in his pressing. I think he can do really well, and to be honest, it's a different threat, right? And actually the players on the team around him need to understand that, and you have to learn how to play with Carlos, because the crosses that you might hit for another player, that can be cut out by some of the defenders, you can actually put that cross a little bit higher. And I think Carlos, especially when the players around him learn how to play with him, it's going to be really difficult to stop some of that service, and if Carlos learns to get into the right spots and finish those chances, I think he can be really effective.
I mean, you already showed a little bit of that today. He had
Yeah.
that little dummy move, and then 2 goals after that. How big is
Yeah.
it for him to have a match like this early in his career?
I think it, of course, builds confidence. And he had a few matches in preseason where he also scored. So I'm not surprised that he was able to come on and score tonight. And I think, you know, in those early season games, we didn't necessarily choose Carlos, but that was more him learning how our system worked and how we need to play in it. And I think he's shown now in training, okay, he's picked up some of the details. And so now when we put him in, he can play both sides of the ball and really be impactful.
How are you feeling going into your first road game next week?
Yeah, I feel good. I feel like we're getting better, right? And the number one thing that we have to do is, no matter what the score of any game is, we analyze it, we watch video, we clip video, we coach our players, we show them video, and we try to get better. We try to identify all the things that we need to get better at, and we just keep moving forward every single time with every match.
What'd you see from Shane tonight?
Yeah, he's very solid, isn't he? Really strong performance again. Made good decisions. Came up with a few big saves when he needed to, and that's what you need. For a team like ours, you don't need goalkeepers making 10 saves. You need a goalkeeper that's going to come up with 3-4 big saves for you. And he's put back-to-back games together. He obviously had a whole summer where he played all summer, trained all summer. He had a great spring. He's come into this opportunity that's now presented itself for him prepared, and you see good performances from him, and there's no surprise.
Speaking of summer, you brought in the head coach of that summer team that Shane was on, David
Yeah.
Jacobs, to be
Yeah.
the new goalkeeper coach. What
Yes.
was it like to adding him onto the staff, and what was kind of motivation to bring a goalkeeper on at this point?
Yeah, I was a goalkeeper in my former life, and I was a goalkeeper coach before I became a head coach. But I can't handle that responsibility because I have too many other things to do, and Dave is excellent. Talking with Shane about Dave beforehand, he felt Dave was going to bring an incredible energy to the group, and so he's absolutely done that. I think he's a real asset. We need our goalkeepers playing at an incredibly high level, and you need a specialist to be able to work with them specifically. So we're really happy to have Dave.
How much has their rapport from the summer kind of helped in his development?
I think it's helped because I think there was trust, right? Anytime you work with any athlete or any person in general, whether it's in athletics or otherwise, you need to have trust between the two, and they had that. And Dave chose Shane to play in those games, and I think that also shows something, right? That he had belief in Shane, and so I think off of that trust and that belief, there's a great relationship for him to coach him.
One more for Coach.
During the broadcast, Wanvi seemed to indicate maybe he's a little bit ahead of schedule.
Yeah, I haven't got an update on Wanvi. All I know is he's walking around that boot right now, but Wanvi is a leader for us, and so he's with the team, he's in the locker room, he's on the training field, and he's impacting us and the team in a really positive way.
A little player
while
coach,
he
a little
gets
bit of a
better.
player coach.
Yeah, he's got a little bit
Yeah.
of that in him. His family, his dad was a coach as well, and so he's very much from that kind of makeup where he probably would be a great coach one day.